Softech Coding. This is the 24th episode of our Coding with Scratch series. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell. I am continuously going to make videos. Welcome back to those who have already watched past episodes, but if you have not watched the previous episodes and you don't have that background knowledge, I would highly recommend starting from episode 1. And if you could please also share this video with your friends and family, that would be great. Alright, let's get started. So we are going to be continuing our Flappy Bird game. Now, in the last episode, we made our bird actually go up and down, and whenever you click, it goes up. We made a flight/gravity variable, we made it animated, and we have created our pipe obstacles, which are the hardest, easier, and easiest. So, we are going to be coding them now. So, the first thing I want us to do is when green flag clicked, I want our little pipes to go to the very end as far as possible. So what you can do here is you can just change it to 500 and it will just give you the furthest it can go. So right now that's X is 263. All right, so we want our X to be that. So we're going to go to motion and we're going to set our X to this. But what we want to change is the Y. Now, let's see, we're going to see, because we made the pipes longer, right? We're going to see how far down we want our pipes to go, how far down and up. So I think this is the lowest I want the pipes to go. So this is the lowest one. So we're just going to go operators and pick random. So remember, the Y is the vertical one. So when I'm choosing a Y, I want it to pick from the current one, which is -51, to, let's say, here. I don't want it to go higher than that. So that would be 71. So that means it's going to choose a spot in between there for it to be. So that the gaps move around so that they're not in the same spot, so it makes the game much harder. So once it's picked this Y and it's gone to the X, so it's going to, as you can see, look at the pipes over here. It's changing heights every time. So that makes it much more difficult to play. And then we're going to switch costume, and we're going to pull out another pick random. Now, you don't have to change just the names of the costumes. All you have to see is that, all right, we have 3 costumes, so we're going to pick from 1 to 3. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to put this, and we're going to see if it picks randomly. Yep, it's picking randomly the costumes, and the heights are changing. So now what we're going to do is we're going to actually code it to move to here. So we're just going to do this, control, forever. We're going to be changing our X by negative, let's say 5. And if our X is, we're going to be gliding all the way across this screen. And if we are, can just do the same trick, -500, -263, all right? So if we are less than, let's go to motion, go back to our X position. So if our X position is less than -262, because remember we want it to be, 263 to be valid, then what we're going to do is we're going to hide. I just want to see if this code works. So as you can see, we're just going to be flapping through, and it hides once it's gone past, and it looks pretty smooth. So then what we want to do is go to variables, make a variable, and I'm going to actually name it score. All right. So now what I'm going to do is this score is going to be the variable that we're going to be using. All right. So when we're going to change our variable score by 1, and you want to set our score to 0 as the in the beginning of the game. So we're going to set our score to 0, and if our X position is less than 262, we're going to hide and change our score by 1. All right. So let's see if this works. Oh, we forgot to make it show in the beginning. I'm just going to make this show here. Yeah, so we got the tiny one. Oh, that one's almost impossible to do. But what happened here is that our score changed to 46. So first thing I'm going to do is, this is pretty much impossible. So I'm just going to do this and make it go a little bit higher, just so that it's a little bit more possible to do it. Select everything and center it again. So what we have to do here is change score by 1, go to control, and stop this script. What this does is it stops this piece of code. But before we do that, we want to create a clone of ourselves. So let's see if this works. Our score is currently 0, and it changes to 1. We don't have that crazy amount of increase of score, and we're going to create a clone of ourselves so that when this script is stopped, then we still have something to code with. So what I'm going to try to do is actually take this code, copy it, paste it, actually this part too, but we don't need the set score to 0, but we do need the show. Actually, we're just going to take out the hide. So when we start as a clone, we want to go to the random place, switch the random costume, and actually we're going to keep on changing it by -5. If our X position is less than 262, then we are going to change our score by 1, create a clone of ourselves, and delete this clone instead of hiding. Now we're going to see if this works. So our clone doesn't seem to be showing up. So what if we do it like this? We're just going to stop the script, and instead of doing that, we do this. Window is clicked, forever, create clone of myself, and wait 1 second. Or maybe like 2 seconds. We can see how this goes. Oh, we have to put the 2 seconds first, because this one is going to go, then we wait 2 seconds, and then we create a clone of ourselves. So now we have our first one, and then we have our clone, which goes. Then we have the other one, next one. I feel like they wait too long to make clones. I'm just going to make it wait 1 second to see. Yep, that's much faster. That might be a little bit too fast. So what if we make it wait 1.5 seconds before making a new clone? So once it's made a new clone, then yeah. And something else I believe we need to do is change the size of our birdie to maybe 75%, because we want to make it easy to fit through the little spaces. Maybe 75 is a bit too small, but we're getting all the easy ones right now, so that might be why it feels like that. We're getting all the easy ones. What happened to the harder ones? There we go. Kind of scared me for a second. I thought the code was broken. Alright, so there is something going on with the score, because if you look here, it's increasing quite rapidly, and we haven't even reached the end. So we gotta figure out why. Alright, so I just made a big mistake. I deleted the bird, but that's okay. It's not saved yet. So if you reload the page, and you can do that by pressing Control R, your sprite will come back. Whenever that happens and you make a mistake like that, always remember, if you just reload your page, then as long as it hasn't saved, you will be able to get it back. So I was very lucky and it hadn't saved yet, and usually you have to be very unlucky for it to save before you can reload, but that's why you shouldn't wait too long before you reload it. That's why I didn't want to explain for too long. But press Control R or Command R if you ever make a mistake like that, and you can bring it back. So I got my birdie back. But it does undo some of your code. So as you can see, some of my code has been deleted because of that. But that's okay. We can just figure it out and what went wrong. So here we have lost the code that created a clone of itself and waited 1.5 seconds. But that's okay. We can just add that back. It wasn't that hard. It's worth it for saving the bird. Alright, we're going to change its size to 75 again. So now we have to figure out what's going on with our score. So, let's see. Our score right now is 0. It changes to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now it started increasing faster than it should. So now, after a point, it starts to increase too quickly. So, let's figure this out. What if we do it like this? So, when Oh, okay, let's go through the code step by step. So here we're making clones, and here we're making clones too. That's probably what's making it go wrong, because we're making clones in 2 spots. We'll see if this fixes it, and then we'll see if it works. So we got our score at 0, scores 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, what's happening to our little guys here? So let's make sure that they're showing all the time. 0, all right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we seem to be increasing at a steady speed now because our pipes seem to be showing up and the score seems to be increasing as we go on. But there is a clear problem here. I can easily bump into all of the pipes and do whatever I want, and it doesn't matter. And the score will just keep on increasing and increasing and increasing, and nothing's going to change. So we need to fix that. So what we need to do is go to our birdie, and we can pull out another forever and another if, because it's easier when you have different ones and you haven't put all your code into one stack. So if we can go to operators and add an or, and we can go to sensing. So we're going to have 2. If you're touching, make sure it goes into the or. If we're touching our color, we just click on this one. We're going to select the brown, because if you're touching the brown, then you're supposed to die. Or if you're touching, pull out the touching mouse pointer from the top, we're going to change that to pipe obstacles. So if you're touching the color this or the pipe obstacles, then we want it to stop all other scripts in Sprite, so that everything else stops. We stop flying, and we want to go to variables, because right now here, a broadcast block wouldn't exactly do what we want, because it should just be easier this way. So we're just going to make a variable called stop, and this is also really cool just to show you guys how we can create a variable instead of broadcasting, which is a little bit more advanced. So we're going to set stop. We can actually rename it. Let me just rename the variable. Rename stop variable. So if you ever want to rename a variable, you just click here, rename variable. I want it to stop or go, because that makes more sense. So when go is clicked, we want it to just be go. And when we're touching the color brown or the pipe obstacles, we want to set stop or go to stop. And here we want to do this. Another when go is clicked, because it's best to have them in separate ones. A forever, an if, a variable, stop or go, an operator equals to. So if stop or go is equal to stop, then we are going to stop all other scripts in Sprite. So the reason that we just didn't do stop all is because we want our little birdie to say, hey, the game is over, you had this much score, and if they beat the high score or not, which we have to create a high score variable. So actually we're just gonna stop all the other scripts in Sprite and stop this script. So what happens is it stops all the scripts in the pipe obstacles, and this stops all the other scripts in birdie, so everything's just going to stop except for this one, which is going to continue. So our bird's going to say, we're going to go to join. So congratulations, space, remember to put the space. I'm just going to put another join here because I know we're going to add more. We're going to go to sensing here, and down here you're going to see a username. Congratulations username, and we can add another join because I know that there's going to be more. Congratulations username, comma, space, stop this, you finished with a score of, and you can just go to variables and pull out the score variable and put it here. So if we're touching the color brown, which means the ground, or the pipe obstacles, we're going to stop everything, set stopper go to stop, which stops everything in pipe, and we're going to say, congratulations, username, you finished with a score of whatever score they had, like 24. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to make this go for a little bit longer, and we're going to be testing our code. So, I finished the score of 0. I forgot to add the space at the end, so it puts of and 0 right next to each other. So I'm just going to start the game. So I'm just going to go, I have a score of 1 now, I have a score of 3, and you see our stopper go is still at go. And oops, I died, but everything didn't stop. Let's figure out why. So stop all other scripts and sprites. So that's really strange. So let's see. So see, this should stop everything because it's supposed to stop all other scripts in the pipe obstacles, So that is very, very, very strange. So what if it is because I put the stop the script at the end? So I'm going to try this again. And oops. Nope, it isn't because of that either. So it seems that the clones seem to not want to stop. So what if we try this and we put this in here inside of the one I start as a clone? Or we do it like this, alright? We copy this, we paste it, and we put another one for when I start as a clone. Because the clones don't really care about if the original guy wants you to stop. So now we're going to see if this works. So we just keep flapping and flapping. Yep, everything stops once it stops. So now what I want to do is actually go to variables. I want to make stopper go not visible by unchecking it. Flight not visible by unchecking it. I'm going to put score down here. I'm going to make a variable a cloud variable. A cloud variable is basically for all uses information and it stores it. Even when you press the stop, it still keeps that information. So that means that you can have a high score because all the users can actually try out, and even when the program is stopped, it still stores this information on the server. So I'm just going to name this high score. Okay, so cloud variable only support numbers. So what we're going to do is, our high score is here. I'm going to put it down here next to this. Very, very simple code for high score. I'm just going to put it into birdie here. So when green flag is clicked, another forever, another if, and we're going to go to operators, and we're going to go to control. We're going to go to variables, and if high score is less than the score that's currently in the game, that means that the score that this player is playing with is actually more than the high score. So we need to set the high score to the score, because the current score that we have right now is the high score because it's the highest one, because it's bigger than the high score. So let's put our high score, as right now our high score is 0. So I want to also figure out, we need to press go twice. So when go is clicked forever, so, that's strange, start working now, okay. So now our score is 1 and our high score is 1 too, because our high score was 0. So as we keep on going on, okay, so congratulations Softech coding, you finished with a score of 5. Now that's also the high score. So we want our birdie to actually tell our player if they would also got a high score. So let's see if this works. The first thing I want to do is make it go to front, because right now it's actually behind the pipe and that looks a little bit strange. So now we're going to add another if block in here, and if inside of the previous if block, because or else then we don't want to do that. So if the game is over, which is if we're touching the color brown or the pipe obstacles, then we want to check inside of that if if high score is equal to score. Because if our score is equal to the high score, that means we have the high score, right? So we're going to say, great job, you beat the high score. So then what we're going to do is we're going to go to sounds, and I'm going to add two sounds, which I really like for video games. Win and triumph. So triumph. So win sounds like this. It's like a really nice, like, you know, you won, but triumph is like really, really a big deal. All right. So now what I'm going to be doing is going to sound, and we're going to start the sound so that it talks while the sound is playing. So we're going to start the sound win while we're saying congratulations, and we're going to start the sound triumph for if you beat the high score. And finally, after all of those noises and celebration, we are going to go to control, and we're going to stop this script. We have to make sure that it's not in this if here for if the score is the high score, because that means if you didn't get the high score, the game won't end. So we need to make sure that if you're touching the color brown or the pipe obstacles, and the end after all the code, you're going to stop the script. So let's see if this works. So we're just going to be clicking, and we're at if. So congratulations, Softech coding, you finished with a score of 2. And it doesn't tell me that, oh, you beat the high score, because I didn't. And now everything is stopped. So now we're going to try again. We're just going to be... Something else you can do to make it a little bit more precise is reduce the amount that it increases and decreases whenever you click. So I have right now beat the high score. So now I also place triumph. It also plays the triumph sound because I also beat the high score. So that is how you make a Flappy Bird game in Scratch. And I hope you guys enjoyed and had fun, and that this was useful to you. So thanks for watching. We have many other videos and more coming. Please let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Please share this video with your friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I will see you on the next episode.